BookTube, it's Missy, and today I'm here to share with you guys 2 book reviews of books that I read last week. We have The Rites of Azathoth by Frank Cavallo, which is an adult crime mystery with a sprinkling of the occult. And then we have The Crowns of Croswald by D.E. Knight. This is a middle grade YA fantasy surrounding a magical school. Both of these books were sent to me by the authors for an honest review. So let's get started. We're going to start with The Rites of Azathoth. I read and finished this one first last week, and boy was this book fun to read. I believe I gave this book 4 stars. Maybe 3.54 stars. Something like that. Let's start with the main characters. We have Diana Mancuso, the FBI agent. We have Richard Norris, her boss. We have Luther Van, the serial killer. We have Carter Shaw, the antiquities expert, and then we have Mr. Gregorian, who is a billionaire. So we have 5 main characters in this book. Now, our main character, Diana, she used to be a field agent, but in the past, one of her cases went awry where she made a mistake and took too long giving information out, and some of the people involved got killed. And so basically, she has taken herself off of field work, and she's now teaching at Quantico for up-and-coming trainers or trainees and agents going into the FBI. When we first meet Diana, Richard Norris is telling her that there is a new case that she needs to help profile. His friend was just murdered, and all signs point to Luther Van, the serial killer, as the killer of Richard Norris's friend. Diana's thinking there's no way. 1, Luther Van, yes, he just escaped prison, but he's like 70 plus years old, and 2, he's blind. Not only that, he's also gone from Ohio to like New York in one day. That's not even possible. But Richard is determined to figure out who the killer is, and he's definitely going for Luther Van as the main suspect for the murders. So Diana goes, fine, whatever, I'll figure it out. And the story goes from there. The thing that was the cool part for me is the fact that this all surrounds Cthulhu and Azathoth and Sologoth and all of these other H.P. Lovecraft creatures. I thought that was fantastic. I've never read anything by H.P. Lovecraft, and I really want to, especially after this book, because the history of these like god-like creatures are very fascinating to me. So we have Gregorian, the billionaire, living in a mansion up in like New York, and he's got these disciples or this secret society of people called the Dark Flame or the Black Flame. I think it's the Black Flame. They call themselves that, and they worship Azathoth, and they follow this tablet of destinies, and they want their goal is to open a portal from the other side to here to gain knowledge and power. They have Dr. Carter Shaw as the antiquities guy, and his role in this book is to read the destinies, the tablet of destinies, because he went to school in ancient languages, and the tablet is written in a language that is pre-Babylonian, and Carter just so happens to know how to read that. So that's how he's involved in all of this. And then we have Luther Van, the serial killer. Now, when he started killing back in the 70s, he was killing off those that were supposed to be demon spawn. And now we have Diana, who's trying to figure out if Luther Van really is the killer of this new victim, if all of what's going on is true. Is there such thing as the Azathoth? You know, did Luther really kill these people because he was told by Azathoth to kill off this demon spawn? And it just gets more and more involved in the supernatural, which I absolutely loved. I absolutely loved that. Now, the reason why I gave this book 3.5 4 stars is because, one, this is a I don't think this is a fully finished copy. So there was grammatical errors in it. Also, there was a bunch of cheesy bits. I was trying to find the exact quote. I couldn't find it, but it was something that I could see a teenage D&D player saying, like, we're gonna ride to victory or something, something super cheesy. So it had a little bit of grammatical errors, and it was a little bit cheesy at times. And yeah, but overall, I really enjoyed the story. Now, Gregorian is an amazing, like, villainish character. We have Dr. Carter Shaw, who is brilliant. He's smart. He has all of these things going for him. And then we have Luther Vane, another, like, villainous creature. But they're all very interesting. They all have a backstory. They all have, like, a thing that they are trying to achieve, like a goal in the story. All of the FBI agents, though, are very flat. I don't like Diana. I don't like her boss, Richard Norris. I don't like the fact that they are in a relationship. They could have just been a friendship. They didn't have to have a relationship. It didn't make the storyline any better. It didn't improve anything. And the fact that they're always screaming at each other really turned me off. Also, Diana has a potty mouth, and she's always saying, F you, this, F that, F this. And now, I cuss like a sailor too, but mine is more of a playful cussing, like, why the hell is everything messed up in this house? Instead of, you know, F you, you suck. And that's how she talks throughout the whole book. Like, she's always so angry. And the fact that she reminds me of Scully from X-Files really pissed me off, because Scully is a pet peeve of mine. Like, she is the quintessential character that has proof, physical proof, like bodily proof of something unknown and supernatural, and yet she still denies it and says, oh, there must be an explanation. I mean, it must be, you know, the FBI or some kind of government agency. No, you've been abducted by aliens. So in this book, we have Diana, who has, like, physical proof of this other world. And she goes, no, there's no way the Azathoth could possibly be real. It drove me nuts. So, like I said, all of the supernatural characters and their storyline, amazing. All of the FBI stuff and the cops and all of that, horrid. Horrid. So again, 3.5, 4 stars. If you are interested in a crime thriller with supernatural elements, I would definitely pick this up, even though Diana is ridiculous, because the Azathoth aspect is so interesting. I want to say thank you to Kelsey, and I want to say thank you to Frank Cavallo for sending me this book, because I really did enjoy it. The next book that I picked up was The Crowns of Croswald by D.E. Knight. First of all, D.E. Knight, or Derwin Edgar Knight, is a character within the book that goes missing. So I really like the fact that the book character is the author of the book, just like Lemony Snicket or M. Verano. These are all like pseudonyms of the actual authors, which I thought was fascinating. On this cover, which is super pretty, is the Harrys. Harrys are fairies that light up the world. They live in lanterns and they bring light. They're able to be luminescent, kind of like lightning bugs or fireflies. So I thought that was really cute. Now in this book we have a huge similarity to the Harry Potter series. If you are accustomed to anything Harry Potter, then this book will be fun to read because it's familiar, if that makes any sense. This just seemed so easy to read because I'm so used to magical schools and magical creatures from Harry Potter. Let's go through the similarities first, and then we'll go through the differences, and then I'll tell you what the book is about. So the first similarity is our main character is dropped off with people that are unknown when she's a baby to protect her from getting killed. Harry Potter had the same thing. He was going to be murdered by Lord Voldemort, so he's dropped off at his relative's house. In this book, we have a girl who is magical, but she doesn't know it. Just like Harry Potter, he's magical, he doesn't know it. She is in denial, so is he. He thinks that he's just, Harry. She just thinks she's Ivy. There's no reason that she could be anything but. In this book, she is a maid. She is treated below everyone else. Harry Potter was the same way. He had a terrible childhood. He was pretty much unloved, and so those are also similarities. Again, she's going to be going to a magical school. So does Harry. She gets a list and an acceptance letter. So does Harry, and that's where the similarities end. The difference between this book and the Harry Potter series is that in this book there are quills instead of wands. There's the Scurvinists, which are a magical bloodline human, and then there are the Royals that have a magical stone that is placed in their crown that gives them magical powers, which kind of reminded me of Sophia the First from the Disney Channel, where in that cartoon Sophia has a necklace. She's got a, what are they called? Amulet, maybe? I think it's an amulet that she wears on her neck that gives her magical powers, so she can fly and shapeshift and stuff like that. So our royals in this book can also do that as long as they have the crown on. They can manipulate the elements, they can shapeshift, they can fly, levitate things, and so forth. The Scurvinists are like the historians of this world, so they have a photographic memory. They can also do magic with their quills, but one of their main things is to draw out events that have happened in great detail. Our main character's name is Ivy Lovely. She is a scullery maid at the Plum Castle beyond the slurry fields, and I will get all into that in just a second. The first thing I want to talk about is a scullery maid. Now, in this world, there are little tiny fat dragons that are domesticated to be ovens for the castles. So there all are scullery dragons. You pop the food into their mouths, they heat them up, and then they serve them to the rest of the people in the castle. Ivy is a scullery maid, which means she needs to do all of the work with these dragons, and dragons are temperamental, so she sometimes gets burned by them. I thought that was very funny. She's also lives beyond the slurry fields, and the slurry fields is just this giant field of purpley bluish flowers that give off this really sweet smelling perfume, but they're also magical, as in they diminish magic. So if you have any magical powers and you are around slurry flowers, they take away the essence of magic. So if there was like a magic detector, they wouldn't be able to detect any magic around you. Now, Ivy, like I said, she was placed at the Plum Castle beyond the slurry fields to keep her safe from the Dark Queen. The Dark Queen is our villain in this book. She has the Black Brood, which is her minions, like these large, monstrous men who ride horses that keep people intimidated and away from the queen. And the queen has been trying to kill off the queenly bloodline for years. And the queen believes that there's one last queenly child left, and she needs to kill her in order to become the ultimate you know, all-powerful being. And before she can do that, the baby is whisked off to this castle and hidden. And so she doesn't know, the queen doesn't know where the baby is. But now 16 years later, there's the double moon or the moon festival coming, which is the birthday of Ivy, and she finds out that she actually shouldn't even be at this castle. She's invited to go to the halls of Ivy to study magic, and she's all super excited. So she gets there, she meets some friends. There's Rebecca, the royal that doesn't want to be a royal. She wants to be a scrivenist. And then there is Finn, a boy that Ivy thinks is pretty cute, but he's also the right-hand guy to the selector, which is kind of like the headmaster of this magical school. And so she trusts him, but also doesn't know if she should trust him because, again, he works for the headmaster. So we have all of that. They also have glandries, which are bottles of imagination. So inside a glandry bottle, there will be like a dream or an imagination of from somebody else's imagination, like bottled up, and the students can go into this glandry bottle and fulfill a task and then come out. But these are also very strong, and sometimes if you don't have someone to let you out of the bottle, you will be stuck in there forever, having to battle the same nightmare or task over and over again forever. So not only do we have the fairies and the glandry bottles, there's dwarves in this magical world. There are seahorses under the lake. There is a parrot-like bird that is the alarm system, so that way the classes change, which I thought was very cute. And and they use porcupines for their quills. So they have like a porcupine that sits on their desk, and they pluck out their quills in order to write for their day's lessons. I thought it was super cute. So overall, I really did enjoy this world. What is this book about, though? Basically, it's just Ivy in school learning who she is and trying to figure out who D.E. Knight is, because she keeps having like these dreams about him, and to stay safe and, you know, not get in contact with the Dark Queen. The ending of this book makes me think that there's going to be a sequel, and I really hope there is, because I need more information on what's going to happen next. I want to know what's going to happen to this world. I want to see where the Dark Queen goes from here. Definitely great. If you like magical stories, if you like girls as the protagonists and you want them to be in a magical setting like Harry Potter, I would definitely pick up this book. Any child the age of 8 or above could definitely read this book. The vocabulary is easily read. The fantasy itself, the magical world, everything is very fun to read. Everything about it was fun. The only thing I didn't like was that she was 16. She should have been 12. If I could fix this story, I would turn her 12, because she doesn't need to be that old. And why do you go to school at 16? Because it's 4 years. So you go to school from 16 to 20? I don't know. I would definitely pick up this book, though. I want to thank D.E. Knight and Ellen for sending me this book, because I really did enjoy it. And there you have it. 2 reviews for 2 completely different books, fantasy, crime, YA, middle school, adult. Highly recommend both of these books for 2 totally different reasons. I really did enjoy them. Thank you so much for watching this review. Hopefully you got the gist of what I was talking about. I will leave the links to the Goodreads reviews down below, because again, I can write better than I can speak. And that is it. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week, and I will talk to you soon. Bye!